Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and whatever time of day it is for you. Sorry, I was a little while late coming on here, but I'm just waking up because, as you know, last night I did quite a long live and then came off only to see the news. Just thought I'd just have a quick look at the news. And of course, someone had been charged. Oh no, not been charged, been arrested at that point in connection with Samantha's case, the case we've been following. The lady who went out for a run and just did not come back, leaving 3 children behind. So, of course, I jumped back on, did a brief live just with the news for everybody, and then tried to go to sleep. And I have slept. I've slept about 4 hours probably. And you know, it's sort of like the news. Obviously, it's good that somebody had been arrested, and it looks like, yeah, we're moving towards finding out what happened to Samantha. But of course, it's not good news, because then this morning, the man, and they keep calling him a man, which is funny because he's 22 years old. You know, that's a boy, really, isn't it? I mean, that is young, very, very young. A 22-year-old man has been charged with murder. You know, so there's a lot to come out, isn't there, in this? Lot more to come out. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Simon. Yes, Kelly, a sad moment, but getting some closure, hopefully. Well, there will be some closure. At least they know. I expect the police, you know, they'll know a lot more, and they'll have told the family a lot more. Very sad. And yes, I'm 22 years old. So, and murder. He's been charged with murder, not manslaughter. You know, not. So seems like the police have always thought she was targeted, wasn't she? So there's more to come out, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm just on my second coffee of the morning, so I'm trying to wake up. So the first thing I want to do before I talk about this a little bit, and we have a look, we watched the press conference together. So I haven't watched the press conference yet myself. I've got it ready for us to watch together. And it's with Shane, isn't it? He's like the chief constable equivalent, is he? And he spoke earlier on in the case. He was the first person to say it was suspicious, wasn't it? But so we have heard from Shane before, but it's been quite a while since he's been the one updating. And it's the missing persons unit who went to arrest this guy. Anyway, I'm going to light a candle. I mean, obviously, Samantha, it doesn't look like she'll be coming home alive, but I just want to light a candle for Samantha. So rest in peace, Samantha. And now it's a question of justice for Samantha, isn't it? And her family, to find out what happened, why this young boy, what is the reason? Because, as I say, he's been charged with murder, not manslaughter, so there's some grievance, like say, Simon, it could be connected with work, though I'm sure the police said that he's not known to the family, not known to Samantha. Anyway, we'll have a look at that. First of all, I just want to show you, because the guy that's been arrested, he lives in, is it Scottstown? Scottsburn. So I just want to have a look at the map so we can see. Scottsburn is very close to Ballarat, I think. Well, it's in Ballarat. If we have a look at so here's Scottsburn. This is where the guy is from what I can gather. And up here There's Buninyong. That was mentioned a lot, wasn't it? And then up here is the Canadian plantation, the Wukarung Regional Park, Mount Clear, where they were looking for Samantha at one point. Now, this is where Samantha went missing, wasn't it? Or the roundabout near the regional park. She lived on Eureka Street, which maybe I need to go. Anyway, Eureka Street is somewhere around here. They thought she ran through the Canadian plantation. That's where she disappeared. She was 7 kilometres into her run, so they think, which they probably think because of phone data, or she was wearing an Apple Watch. Now, that area that they searched, that they singled out and searched, Mount Clear, it's right near this road, look. Yeah, right near this road. And if you come down this road, you come to Buninyong and then further down to Scotsburn. And this is where the guy was arrested, in Scotsburn. I think it's 20 kilometres from where Samantha went missing. So it's quite, if he was driving. Now, is it that he ran her over? Because there's been all that speculation, hasn't there, about a car and looking for a car that was damaged, and he must have been in a car. So, but he's been charged with murder, not manslaughter. So it makes you feel that it was a deliberate, he's deliberately attacked her. Not, ran her over by accident and then panicked and tried to get her, hidden her. Now, she has not been recovered yet. Her actual body has not been recovered yet. So that's the next thing that the police will be concentrating on. So, yeah, it looks like he was, what was he doing there? Was he specifically looking for Samantha? But I'm sure the police have said that there's no connection between them. But we're going to watch the police. We're going to watch the press conference, and we might find out a bit more there. But yeah, so then has he, done something to her, and then maybe took her away from Mount Clear in his car down here? And of course, there's lots of places there where he could have dumped the body. And that'll be the police priority now, won't it? Will be to bring Samantha home, at least so that she can have a dignified burial. Bring her home to her family, even though it doesn't look like it's going to be alive, unfortunately. So yeah, I think we're all a bit sort of surprised that he's so young. Now, it's sort of, to me, like, if young people do tend to drive quite quickly. So it could be that he's, killed her by accident as she was running. She was on the road. Hi, Tricia. Very, because if he's been out on a night out, because it was a Sunday morning, wasn't it? Now, I don't know what it's like in Australia. Do the young people go out very late? Because it's summer, isn't it? So it's reminding me of one morning when I was walking my dogs at about 6 in the morning on a Sunday, and a young lad driving a car come speeding down, like where I walk my dogs. There is a road, but nobody's ever really drives on it. Rarely, because it's hard to explain, but it's sort of out in the campo, and there is a road there, but you rarely see a car. And he comes speeding down, this young lad, and I think what he'd done was he was probably trying to avoid the police, because in Spain, where young people go out, especially in the summer, and they are out all night and they come home at 6, 7 in the morning, that is, people in Spain don't go out till 11 o'clock in the evening. And I know you probably can't imagine that if you live in the UK or somewhere, but when it's hot like that, they go out at 11, they come home at 6 in the morning. I've done it myself years ago. I've done it for a long time. spend the whole night out, maybe go to the beach for the evening, the whole night, and come home as other people are just turning up at the beach to start their day. And this lad came, racing down the road, and I was on the pavement, but my dogs were off the lead, because you never ever see anybody at that time in the morning. It's hard to explain. It is a place where normally it is safe to let your dogs off the lead, but I think this boy must have come like this back way round, maybe to try and avoid the main roads, because he was worried about seeing the police. Maybe he'd had a few drinks or whatever, and oh God, so I was like gesticulating to him like this, to stop, because my dogs. Anyway, and he nearly ran one of my dogs over. He did just stop in time, and then he just took off and started driving. But so I had wondered about that. Is it a young man who's been out drinking, had too much drink, is on his way home, and knocked her over by accident, panicked? But he has been charged with murder, so I would imagine that would be manslaughter, surely. But anyway, we're going to look at the Hi, Earth Keeper. Hi, Charlie. You're up early. I know you had your terrible dream. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe that's what's happened. But then why has he been charged with murder? If it was an accident, because it would be manslaughter, wouldn't it? But then, of course, if he's removed the body, and then remember, the police always said they thought it was multiple people, one or more people involved. So has he panicked? Has somebody come out to help him move the body? I mean, obviously her body has been moved, so it's a question now of finding the body, isn't it? And then they can get some information. There's quite a lot of time has passed, unfortunately, so that will be a grim autopsy, won't it? But they need to find the cause of death, etc. But they have charged him with murder, so it's strange. Okay, so let's have a look at the press conference. I think now we'll watch the press conference together and see what we think. I found it difficult to sleep, Char. I found it difficult to get to sleep, but also, I know it's awful, but it's at least you feel that it's a very sad moment. And knowing, that her children, she's not going to go home to her children. It looks like that. Well, it's pretty certain, isn't it? But at least they know something. I think the worst case scenario would be just never knowing what had happened to Samantha, wouldn't it? And all the suspicion that clouds around the family, etc. Because just for, that's the way it is when a spouse goes missing. The attention always, and more times than not, it is the partner that has done something. So it's just good that at least there's some resolution now, and that Mick's not going to have to live under suspicion because nothing's ever been found out, and people will always speculate about it. But apparently it's caused a lot of problems in Ballarat, suspicion, etc., and arguments. There'll be some people who support Mick, there'll be other people who don't. So just for not only for the family but for the whole community, the police, they seem quite switched on, I think, the police. But anyway, let's have a look at the press conference, see what Shane's got to tell us, and we might know a little bit more by the end of it.
I'm here to provide an update on the disappearance of Samantha Murphy, who went missing on the 4th of February, and the developments that have came today. Detectives from the Missing Persons Squad yesterday morning at 6 a.m. arrested a 22-year-old Scottsburn man. They arrested him at his home address and took him into custody. The man was interviewed over a number of hours. A number of search warrants have been executed. As a result of those investigations, he has today been charged with the murder of Samantha. We will be alleging that murder occurred at Mount Clare on the day she disappeared.
So Mount Clear. So he said we will be alleging that murder happened at Mount Clear. That was the targeted area, wasn't it? That they went back and searched. That they announced they were going back to search.
In the interview with the suspect, he has not disclosed to police where Samantha's body is. I want to be very clear. I'm limited in what I can say, given that there has now been a charge of murder laid. The suspect, as I say, has been charged and he'll be appearing before Ballarat Magistrates Court. As I came into the press conference, he was very close to being fronted before the magistrate. Samantha's family has been advised of this tragic news this afternoon by detectives from the Missing Persons Squad, and obviously this is a
that would have been a very painful thing for the murder squad, the Missing Persons Squad, going to tell the family, you know, that must be such an unpleasant thing to do, and that those poor kids. So all this time, obviously they've been worried out of their mind, but you know, now they know what's happened to Samantha. Gosh, a murder charge of such a young man.
Tragic outcome, knowing that she has been murdered.
Oh my
Our
God.
thoughts and support are with her family. And I do just want to say something about the family. Since the outset in these cases, it's often that the family come under scrutiny. They were under intense scrutiny at the outset, and we, Victoria Police, said everyone should keep an open mind and let us go about our business. They have been cooperative with us. They have provided everything we needed, and they have had no involvement whatsoever in this matter. I want to thank all members of the public.
There you go, no involvement whatsoever. So, gosh, why has this man murdered Samantha?
Public and Ballarat surrounding communities. They've been fantastic in the way they've assisted the volunteers, particularly members of the SES, the CFA. They've helped in the line searches, in continuing searches, but also in the information that has been provided. I know that Samantha's disappearance has had a profound impact on the Ballarat community. Some cases, some disappearances, some murders bring out outpourings of grief, and we've seen that here. So thank you to the community and all those involved, all those who provided us.
Now, one thing I just want to say before, because it's the police, the missing persons unit guy that did the last press conference, he did say that he didn't feel that there was any reason of any danger to anybody else. But if it's some guy who has just randomly killed Samantha, I wonder why he was so certain there was no danger to anybody else. Maybe it's because they were keeping an eye on him, because they may have been keeping an eye on him right from the beginning, mightn't they?
Assistance in all of those areas. Lastly, I want to thank all of the Victoria police officers involved, those who've been involved in the searches from the outset, the responders, those specialist areas, search and rescue, a whole range of other areas. Those who've been involved in the painstaking methodical investigation that's occurred in the bush area, but as well those detectives from the Missing Persons Unit who've worked very long hours, intensive hours since this occurred. They've been...
Well, they've done really well, the police, haven't they? They have conducted this whole thing very well. Hi, Samara. Hi, Faye. As he spoke, hi, Quizzical. So we'll have a look. After this, I'll have a look to see what Mick has had to say. You know, and like you say, Samara, the thing is, it is good that Mick's had nothing to do with it. So at least those kids, they've still got their dad, because that was my worry, that if Mick did have something to do with it, that they were going to end up not only without a mum, but without a father as well. So that is some comfort, I suppose, that at least they've still got their dad. Just tragic, isn't it? And so young. I think we're all a bit sort of surprised. Nobody was expecting someone so young, I'm sure.
assisted by other members from Crime Command, other detectives from there, those from the Western region, as well as detectives from our Counter-Terrorism Command, to make sure we had significant resources to solve this case. This investigation is far from over, though. Obviously,
Yeah, I mean, the investigation is only just beginning in a way, isn't it? Hi, Alana. It's only just beginning. First of all, first and foremost, their priority will be to find Samantha's body, find out off this guy where is the body, and bring her home, and then find out why he did it. I mean, maybe it was a random attack. If he's seen her running and he's seen an opportunity, was there an sex motive, or was it? Gosh, is it just in the wrong place at the wrong time as far as Samantha's concerned, or did he know that Samantha ran there on a regular basis? These are all the things that we're yet to find out.
We're going to be continuing to gather further evidence. We'll be taking further statements, and investigations will continue at a very heavy pace.
So he's a son of a famous FAL player. All right, okay. Well, when the police conference is finished, I'll have a look. Hi, old hippie. I'll have a look for more information.
Importantly, doing everything we can to locate Samantha's body for the family is absolutely vital and something we'll be focusing on. I would call on the public. We've had amazing assistance in terms of intelligence reports being made, but anyone who has any information, even the slightest bit of information that you think might not be that relevant, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Any little clue could be vital in helping us locate her body. I'm happy to answer any questions, but as I say, I am very limited in what I can tell you, given that a person has now been charged with murder.
Will police be able to allege whether the 22-year-old charged man is known to Samantha or her family?
It's my understanding this man is not known to the family.
So it says understanding that this man is not known to the family. So was he just there, like saw Samantha and attacked her randomly? That's very scary, isn't it? But that makes me think, well, why did they say there was no danger to anybody else?
There are reports that you're searching Lal for her remains. Is that true?
I'm not going to go into operational detail as to where we're searching for remains. The search has been ongoing for a period of time, and it continues whenever we get additional information. But we're calling on members of the public to help us, because that's our primary role now, to try and get Samantha back for her family.
Is he cooperating with police?
It's not for me to comment on whether the suspect has cooperated with police or not. I will simply say that he has been charged with murder and he has not disclosed where her body is.
Do police believe that he worked on his own, or are you looking for other people as well?
We're not looking for anyone else. It's not alleged at this stage that there's any accomplice.
Murder is premeditated. Will police allege whether this was planned or it was an accident?
He has been charged with murder, so by its definition, we're saying this was a deliberate attack on Samantha.
Yeah, that's strange. And now he's saying we don't know that there's anybody else involved, but they clearly stated there were other people involved. They felt, well, they kept saying a person or multiple persons or more than one person. They definitely, but do you know what? Then I suppose they're trying to, the things that they say when they're looking for someone, they don't want to give away precise information. But yeah, after the press conference is finished, we'll have a look at this football player that you're talking about.
Is there any suggestion it's opportunistic?
I'm not going to go into the details, motive, or any of those further details in regards to what has or hasn't happened when she has been killed. I will simply say he has been charged with murder, which by its definition means it was an intentional act.
How did police find this man? Was it the mobile phone data? Was it a tip from the public?
He's been located through a range of investigative outcomes that have came together. As you would be aware, we've been clear, we've been pinging phones, we've been following up on investigation reports from members of the public, we've done ground searches, we have done door knocks, so it's a whole range of information coming together. I'm not going to identify what has specifically led us to this man, other than to say it has resulted as came about from painstaking detective work with.
Yeah, so he's not saying what's led them to, but it's to do with phone data, I would imagine, and evidence, I suppose. But yeah, he's not going to give it all away because there'll be a court case coming up.
Great assistance from the public.
How do you believe how do you believe Samantha died, if that's the assumption being made?
I'm not going to go into the details of how Samantha died. I'm simply going to say she was murdered on the day of her disappearance by this male.
Police are also looking for a weapon as well.
We continue to look for evidence in respect to the murder.
Was the accused known to police previously?
I'm not going to go into whether the accused is known to police or not.
Why wasn't the arrest disclosed until today, when I believe it was 6 a.m. yesterday?
We don't disclose operational matters that could impede or in any way impair our investigation.
Has the search area narrowed?
They do ask some silly questions sometimes, don't they? Because anyway, he's dealing with the questions. Well, at the end of the day, the press are there to ask questions. You know, that's their job, I suppose. So he's just dealing with the questions, and say, you know, he's not being defensive or anything. He's just dealing with the questions. But sometimes you do think, why ask those questions?
Since his arrest, or change perhaps, why?
As I say, I'm not going to go into details of anything to do with the outcome of the investigation at this stage or what it might mean. We're still at a critical stage of this investigation where we are trying to locate Samantha's body, as well as a whole range of other evidence. So it's not appropriate that I give a blow-by-blow description about what we're going to do, what we might be doing, or what our investigation may take us towards. It's simply this. We have identified through a very painstaking, methodical investigation an offender. We've charged that person with murder. They are now, or could be at this very moment, or will have a short time ago, or this evening be fronting at Ballarat Magistrates Court to face that charge. But again, and I really do want to reiterate it, we are calling on members of the public who may know even the slightest snippet of information. Please contact Crime Stoppers.
Are you able to say when Samantha's family was told about this?
So he's still asking for information from the public. So the thing is, they're putting their case together. They must have just got to a point where they felt that they had enough to charge him. Then they've arrested him, but they've still got a long way to go before, you know, they're still putting the case together.
The arrest and how they received the news?
Samantha's family was told about the arrest last night, and they were told this afternoon about the charging of the male. I won't go into how they've received the news. Obviously, though, anyone being told a loved one has been murdered, it's tragic.
So it was the day that she went missing that you believe she was killed?
We're alleging she was murdered at Mount Clare on the day of her disappearance, the 4th.
I understand you're not.
Gosh, so they said it. We're alleging she was murdered at Mount Clare on the same day she disappeared. And gosh, those poor children and poor Mick.
Able to give too much detail, but is there a physical search currently happening today for the body?
I'm not going to go into any details about what the investigation is doing at the moment.
Will police be alleging that this was a hit run?
No.
Where were the search warrants you mentioned before that have been executed in the last days since the arrest? Where were they executed?
We executed a number of search warrants yesterday at some residential addresses in that area of the vicinity of where the male lives in Scottsburn.
Can you disclose, say, how many homes?
No, I'm not going into that.
Was a car allegedly involved at all?
I'm not going to go into any further detail other than to say this was we are alleging a deliberate attack which has caused the death of Samantha.
You've said that he wasn't known to the family. Was he known to
Well, there you go. A deliberate attack that has caused the death of Samantha. But obviously he's not going to go into any details. But you can't hear their questions very well, which is annoying, and the subtitles won't come on. But
to Samantha?
I don't have that knowledge. I don't believe that to be the case.
Is your interaction with the man refined the parameters in which you're searching for the body?
Again, I'm not going to scope down what the investigation extent will or won't be. It's not helpful for anyone to speculate on what the outcomes now of the investigation mean for us, where what our avenues of inquiry take us to. We will be led by the evidence, and there's still a whole range of it that we're processing, and that's what we'll do, and we'll continue to do this in a methodical approach, as has been to date.
Why did you, as Chief Commissioner, decide you needed to speak to us today about this?
Yeah, I thought it was important I came here because such has been the outpouring of grief in the community, the feeling of emotion that we've heard right across, not just the Ballarat and surrounding area, but right across Victoria, indeed across the nation and internationally. It was important for me to stand here to express my appreciation to the public, the members of all those communities who've assisted, the information we've got from them, but as well to the police officers who've been engaged in this and given up many hours of long haul days, so that I can say to them.
yeah, because it's been strange, isn't it, the police thing, and because they've suddenly come. They've been sort of quiet, then suddenly given a press conference, then quiet again. They've just been working away in the background and doing, leaking whatever information for them that was appropriate to leak. And he's come out to say this now, and he's right, because they've got he can only give so much information. He can't give all the information out, and they've got a criminal case coming up. You can't compromise it. They want a successful conviction with this lad at the end of the day, don't they?
Thank you for what you've done, and because of the importance of that, that's why I'm standing here.
And have you spoken to any witnesses specifically relating to the movements of the accused?
I'm not going to go into details about what the investigation has or hasn't done to date. It's just not something I'm going to touch upon. The person has been charged, so now we are bound by a number of rules in relation to what we can and can't say in regards to evidence, and this is where we're at.
The prosecutors need opposing bail.
It's a charge of murder. We'll be opposing bail.
You're alleging some sort of weapon of any kind was used?
I haven't alleged what transpired in the death, other than that this is a deliberate attack which has resulted in the murder of Samantha.
So he's said that a couple of times. So he's trying to make it clear, and the journalists are trying to twist his words. But he said it's a deliberate act that resulted in Samantha's murder. So that's it. So it's murder as far as they're concerned. It's not an accident. It's not manslaughter. A deliberate act that ended in Samantha's murder. And they'll have a reason for thinking that. I wonder why they think that. How can they be so sure that it was a deliberate act and not an accident? Make sure. What is there witnesses? Is that then if they know enough to be certain that it was murder and not an accident, whether it's from her Apple Watch, the spikes or whatever, I don't know. But he's convinced this was a deliberate act that led to Samantha's murder. He's said that more than once now.
Was there a motorbike?
Again, I'm not going to speculate on any other details about the death other than to say it was deliberate.
Is there any alleging of whether drugs or alcohol were involved on part of the...
Wonder that's really intrigued me. Like, how are they so certain it was deliberate? There's a reason for that, isn't there? So, yeah.
Again, I'm not going to go into the evidence and speculate about the evidence. So in Victoria, when someone's charged, irrespective of what people's views may be, the details of that evidence are tested in court, not at press conferences.
Just to confirm,
Yeah, good for him. They do start to get annoying because they're asking all the same questions. But yeah, it has to go to court, not, it's not trial by press conference.
something that you said earlier, so it's not being treated as an alleged hit run.
No.
Does Samantha Murphy's family hope from here? I imagine they're obviously distraught. Are they really, in terms of recovering her, is that something that's of the utmost importance to them?
Obviously, it goes without saying, any family or someone who's lost a loved one, the recovery of Samantha is of primary importance to them to get their loved one back. And that's why the focus from our investigators will be not stepping back at all. In fact, we'll be going even harder to try and recover a body.
Is there a sexual nature to the murder?
Again, I'm not going to canvass any details to do with the evidence in respect to the murder.
Yeah, so their priority now is going to be to get Samantha back. So this young lad, if he's got any sense, he will reveal where she is, because it's going to be worse for him if he doesn't say where she is. But having said that, then he might be thinking, if he never says, if the body's never found, has he got, maybe that's what he's been, he'll have a lawyer by now, especially if we're going to have a look at what people have been saying about who he's the son of. He'll definitely have a lawyer by now, and maybe the lawyer has told him just to keep quiet for now, which is horrible, isn't it? That's why I could never be a defence lawyer. I couldn't turn around to some twunk and say, oh yeah, no, don't tell them where the body is, because, keep the family in torture for a bit longer. How could you sleep at night? But I'm sure that's what the lawyers told him.
All right, thank you all.
Okay, so let's have a look now then at the guy you're all saying on there. I mean, I know absolutely nothing about Australian football. So let's have a look at this guy that everyone seems to think is the father. Did you say Oren Stevenson? Is this him, Oren Stevenson, Australian rules footballer? Is that him? Can't be him, he's 41. No. What was the name of the person? Let me just have a look. Patrick Stevenson. Okay. Oh, well, on Fox Sports, it's coming up. Oh, apparently the courts have imposed a temporary gag order. He was charged with 1 count of murder on Thursday afternoon and appeared in the Ballarat Magistrates Court shortly after 3:30 p.m. for a brief hearing. And it says a hush fell over the packed courtroom shortly after 3:30 as the 22-year-old entered the room. He responded loudly with "Yes, Your Honour," when he was asked by Magistrate Michelle, I can't pronounce her second name, if he could hear her. And the court was told prosecutors sought a longer than usual period to compile a brief of evidence against the man, saying there was a significant amount of material. No members of Miss Murphy's family were present. So his lawyer, yeah, he's got a lawyer, of course, David Tamanica, asked the court to urgently impose a temporary suppression order on personal details, including his name, age and address, citing mental health issues that could arise and the risk of prejudice to his client. So it's the first time he's in custody, and there is a sufficient seriousness to the allegation he may be a risk of self-harm. So she's granted this gag order. So that means that the mainstream media won't be able to say who he is, etc. So she's granted an interim gag order because she says it's a balancing exercise between open justice and the submissions made. So a temporary gag order, but we can have a look, I suppose, at least. What was his name? Patrick Stevenson. Right, okay, let's have a look. Images. Can't see anything on here. Patrick Stevenson. Oh, here you go. Somebody's put a picture on. So this is him, is it? Patrick Stevenson with the beanie hat. What? They've always got beanie hats on or some sort of hats on. Yeah, very young. I just can't get over his age. So when you go into that, it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't, the photo's not in there. Right, go back to that. So this is the photo of the guy, and he's supposedly the son of, hi Desi, hi Swisher, hi everybody else, hi Rio. Yeah, very young guy. And his father is, was Oren Stevenson, apparently, who's a famous football player. So this is the son, the guy that's been charged in oh, I never shared it. There you go. There's the guy that's been charged in Samantha's murder, the young lad, 22 years old, just 22 years old. Hi, Blind Bee. Yeah. Yep, definite arrest. He's been charged with murder. The guy we just watched, that you can look back and watch the press conference. Shane there in the press conference said that it was a deliberate act that led to Samantha's death, and he has been charged with murder. But there's been a temporary gag order put on, not to compromise the trial, which is fair enough. Now, I want to have a look and see if I can find a mixed reaction. God, just a young, I know I keep saying it, but you just think, my God, just don't expect it. Right, let's see if I can find it. Is this a video? So apparently Mick has said he is relieved. It's the Herald's son he's been talking to. Let me just show you this. So here's Mick. This was him seen at the family home on Thursday, apparently. I'm trying to see if I can find a video of him speaking, or has he just given a statement? Yeah, so remember, police searched that Mount Clear area twice, but nothing was found. and then it was unclear what her movements were after this, and her phone and watch are still missing. Police have also searched areas in the suburb of Bunyinyong, about 14 kilometres away from Ballarat East, and they'd previously pinpointed it as a location of interest. This was because Samantha's phone had pinged at that location, but it's still unknown what time that occurred. And Shane said the police were not ruling out the phone ping despite Bunyinyong being 6 kilometres south of Mount Clear. Okay, so it's all about finding Samantha's body now, I suppose. Let's see if I can find a video. See, it's going to be difficult because if there's been a gag order put on, I don't know how that's going to leave things. Anyway, Channel 7. Let's have a look. Channel 7 YouTube. Thank you, Faye. Oh, that's not the right Channel 7, is it? I hate trying to find things as I go. Oh, there you go. 7 News. Where is this? Oh, that's something else. Come on, where's the interview? I hate trying to find things as I go because I like normally to have it prepared. But anyway, we'll see it at some point if I can't find it this morning. Why? Let's try. Need YouTube, don't I? Right, try again. So they've got the press conference on there, but I can't see any video of Mick talking. Yeah, let's see. Let's just watch the press conference again.
Police have charged a man with murder over the disappearance of missing Ballarat mother Samantha Murphy. Chief Commissioner Shane Patton is providing an update. We will take you there live now.
The man was interviewed over a number of hours. A number of search warrants have been executed. As a result of those investigations, he has today been charged with the murder of Samantha. We will be alleging that murder occurred at Mount Clear on the day she disappeared. In the interview with the suspect, he has not disclosed to police where Samantha's body is. I want to be very clear. I'm limited in what I can say, given that there has now been a charge of murder laid. The suspect, as I say, has been charged and he'll be appearing before Ballarat Magistrates Court. As I came into the press conference, he was very close to being fronted before the magistrate. Samantha's family has been advised of this tragic news this afternoon by detectives from the Missing Persons Squad. And obviously this is a tragic outcome, knowing that she has been murdered. Our thoughts and support are with her family. And I do just want to say something about the family. Since the outset in these cases, it's often that the family come under scrutiny. They were under intense scrutiny at the outset, and we, Victoria Police, said everyone should keep an open mind and let us go about our business. They have been cooperative with us. They have provided everything we needed, and they have had no involvement whatsoever in this matter. I want to thank all members of the public and Ballarat surrounding communities. They've been fantastic in the way they've assisted the volunteers, particularly members of the SES, the CFA. They've helped in the line searches, in continuing searches, but also in the information that has been provided. I know that Samantha's disappearance has had a profound impact on the Ballarat community. Some cases, some disappearances, some murders bring out outpourings of grief, and we've seen that here. So thank you to the community and all those involved, all those who provided assistance in all of those areas. Lastly, I want to thank all of the Victoria police officers involved, those who've been involved in the searches from the outset, the responders, those specialist areas, search and rescue, a whole range of other areas. Those who've been involved in the painstaking methodical investigation that's occurred in the bush area, but as well those detectives from the Missing Persons Unit who've worked very long hours, intensive hours since this occurred. They've been assisted by other members from Crime Command, other detectives from there, those from the Western region, as well as detectives from our Counter-Terrorism Command to make sure we had significant resources to solve this case. This investigation is far from over though. Obviously, we're going to be continuing to gather further evidence, we'll be taking further statements, and investigations will continue at a very heavy pace. Importantly, doing everything we can to locate Samantha's body for the family is absolutely vital and something we'll be focusing on. I would call on the public. We've had amazing assistance in terms of intelligence reports being made, but anyone who has any information, even the slightest bit of information that you think might not be that relevant, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Any little clue could be vital in helping us locate her body.
Good afternoon. We begin with breaking news on the investigation into missing Victorian mother Samantha Murphy. Police have charged a 22-year-old man with her murder. We're joined now by Heidi Murphy from Melbourne. Heidi, good afternoon. Police have just held a press conference. What are the major takeaways?
Well, Sophie, this is the breakthrough we've all been waiting for, Samantha's husband and her children most of all. It's been nearly 5 full weeks now since the 51-year-old mum went out for a Sunday morning run and disappeared. Police tell us they will allege that is the day she died at Mount Clear on the outskirts of Ballarat. A 22-year-old man was arrested first thing yesterday morning at a home in Scottsburn. That's a little town just near Ballarat. He was held by police overnight and well into today. Then just before 2 o'clock, detectives visited Samantha Murphy's home to let her husband Mick know charges had been laid. Mick spoke soon after.
The adrenaline with everything and that's what's going on is just, it's trying to be brave for everybody. The generosity and the support from the community has just been just overwhelming. Friends, family, everyone. Like, this is that much respect for Sam and us and the family.
The Police Commissioner, Shane Patton, has just spoken to lay out.
There you go. There you go. There he is, speaking briefly.
Soon after.
The adrenaline with everything and that's what's going on is just...
I wonder if this is his family liaison officer, or I wonder who that is, or a relative.
It's trying to be brave for everybody. the generosity and the support from the community has just been just overwhelming. Friends, family, everyone. Like, this is that much respect for Sam and us and the family.
The Police Commissioner Shane
There you
Patton has
go.
just
So there you go. That is the brief video from Mick. Well, there's more to come out, isn't there, in this story? Let's just watch the rest.
spoken to lay out a little bit of the further limited detail that he can.
Samantha's family has been advised of this tragic news this afternoon by detectives from the Missing Persons Squad. And obviously this is a tragic outcome, knowing that she has been murdered. This investigation is far from over, though. Obviously, we're going to be continuing to gather further evidence. We'll be taking further statements, and investigations will continue at a very heavy pace.
Now, the police chief does say this is a murder charge, so they will allege it was an intentional and a deliberate act. Now, the accused is facing Ballarat Magistrates Court at the moment. We are told it is his first time in custody. We also understand there's no connection between him and the Murphy family. Police also say the accused has not yet disclosed where her body is. There's been those weeks of extensive searching. Police now very keen, Sophie, to get that final answer for her family.
Heidi, thank you for the update. The son of former Defence Minister Joel Fitzgibbon has...
There you go. So that's that. And there's another video that I've got ready, just a different news company talking about...
A 22-year-old man has faced court charges.
There you go, a national suppression order on his name, date of birth and address. Well, there should be sound because the video is playing. The video is playing fine. There is no reason why there shouldn't be sound. Sound's turned up. Yeah. No, I don't know why there's no sound on that because it's showing and the sound is turned up. No, I just don't know why there's no sound on that because the sound is up. Look, the volume is on full.
What can you tell us about Samantha Murphy's disappearance?
Well, Joe, as much of the public will know, but just to recap, Ms. Murphy went for a run on February 4th. She left her Eureka Street home in Ballarat East. She was known to be an avid runner and was, from what we've heard, very much just heading out for a regular Sunday morning run. Ms. Murphy, we've seen dozens of volunteers scour the area around her home, just looking for any sign of her. Now, today, as the accused faced court, Chief Commissioner Shane Patton provided an update in Melbourne. Take a listen to a little of what he had to say.
We will be alleging that murder occurred at Mount Clare on the day she disappeared. In the interview with the suspect, he has not disclosed to police where Samantha's body is. Anyone who has any information, even the slightest bit of information that you think might not be that relevant, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Any little clue could be vital in helping us locate her body.
Now, as you've heard from Chief Commissioner Patton there, the investigation into this missing persons case is still very much underway. So a real plea for anyone with information, whether it be information that they have on their dash cam, CCTV, anything, they're being urged to come forward and contact Crime Stoppers on that number, Joe.
Okay, so there you go. That's what we know so far. I want to just take one more look at the young lad, the picture that we looked at. Was it this one? Oh, hang on. So yeah, here he is in the beanie hat. This is the young lad who's been charged. But there's a gag order put on, so we won't hear much else about him now until, you know, things, I don't know when that'll change. But here he is, the guy. Just a boy, really, just a boy. And then the last, I'm just going to put some windows down, and then I'm going to show you again the sort of geographical area, if you like. I just hope they find her. Just hope they find her. So that is the guy. This is the area. He's been arrested at Scotsburn here. For those of you who missed this, I showed this right at the beginning of this video. This is where he's been arrested, in this area in Scotsburn. And up here is Mount Clear, where the policeman Shane, or I'm not sure what his exact title is, where he said that they think it happened, that this deliberate act that caused Samantha's death, that's what he called it. This is the Canadian plantation that she was thought to have ran through. Now, remember, the police said they thought she'd got 7 kilometres into her run, and then something had happened. Now, who knows whether it happened there and she was taken to Mount Clear. I don't think she would normally run to Mount Clear, especially because she was doing supposedly doing a shorter run that morning, because she supposedly had to be back home for a family brunch. So this is the Canadian plantation where she would normally run. This is Mount Clear, where the police think something actually happened to her. And then if you look, there's like a direct road all the way down. This is Bunyan, where they think that the mobile pinged for the last time. And then down here is Scotsburn, where the boy was arrested. So did he come down here? Was he in a car? Was he on a... See, if he was on like a track bike or something, surely, how could he have hidden her body? But there may have been other people involved in the hiding of her body. So we don't know, basically. We don't know. You remember, the police always seemed convinced there was more than one person involved. So has he, panicked, contacted somebody, asked them to help? We just don't know. We don't know the full details. But the thing is, they have someone under arrest. He's been charged with murder. He's only 22 years old. He's the son of a famous Australian football player. And yeah, this is where Samantha, thought it happened. And then as he, there is a road just straight through there, isn't there? So that's where we are basically at the moment. Hi, Colleen. We don't know any details. They thought it was a targeted attack, but yeah. Hi, Amanda Jane. I'm sure he's got a top lawyer. Yeah, his father's an Australian football player, as far as people say. But there's so much more to come out, so much more official things to come out. But that's the story. So basically, someone's been arrested. The priority for the police now is to bring Samantha home to her family, aren't they? Isn't it? So that's what we're. Gosh, now we're just hoping for the body to be found. All hopes of her being found alive and well, maybe having been kidnapped and kept alive. It doesn't look that way now. The police have charged him with murder, and there'll be a reason why they've charged him with murder. They haven't just done it for the hell of it. So they've got evidence that suggests that, whatever that is, and we don't know what the evidence is. They're still collecting evidence. They're still asking for help from the public. So they're putting their case together, aren't they? But you know, at the end of the day, for the family, for the children especially, and for Mick, because I suppose it's a relief for Mick in the sense that people won't be looking at him the same. So we'll see what happens anyway, won't we? Yeah. Okay, so that's it for this morning. I've got some classes. I've got to go off and do some teaching. As always, any news that I get, I will let you know. Thanks for being here with me. Thank you all for being for subscribing. Don't forget to like, please. Leave your fingerprint on the like button if you don't mind. And to all of you, have a good day or a good evening or a good afternoon, depending on where you are. I know I've got people watching from all over. Thank you so much. And yeah. Justice for Samantha now, isn't it? Unfortunately, she's not going to be found alive, but we just want to see justice done. And whoever, if this boy has done what the police are saying that he's done, he needs to be brought to justice. But you know, it's another tragedy right there, isn't it? Just his age, and you know, that's another family that's probably been devastated. You know, imagine finding out that your son had been arrested for that. That's another, you know, these ripples go out and out, don't they? Okay, so thank you. And remember to live and love wisely, carefully. And until I see you again in the next video, may your God go with you. Bye.